Yes, indeed. This one acts, and she directs, and she sings. In the prime of her life, Geraldine Fitzgerald is singing her beloved street songs in a one-woman show right here in New York. And I'm very pleased that she's going to be our guest tonight. Would you believe that today she has the most successful act at the Actors Playhouse? It is a one-woman show, a musical. Here she is singing a song from that one-woman show, Streetsongs.
Saturday night at the Rose and Crown is just the place to be. Tinkers and tailors and soldiers and sailors all out for a bit of a spree. If you find that you're weary of life with your husband or wife and the kids have got you down, it will all come right on Saturday night at the Rose and Crown. Now that's a street song about a lovely English pub called the Rose and Crown. And it's interesting in that context to note that Noel Coward wrote that. And he was celebrated for being one of the most sophisticated lyricists of this century. And yet when he was asked to write a song that reflected his deepest feelings for England, he didn't write about Buckingham Palace. And he didn't write about a design for living in the Mayfair pad. No, he wrote, Saturday night at the Rose and Crown is just the place to be. Tinkers and tailors and soldiers and sailors all out for a bit of a spree. If you find that you're weary of life with your husband or wife and the kids have got you down, it will all come right on Saturday night at the Rose and the Crown.
Bravo! Come over here. Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely.
So glad to see you, Arlene.
I'm glad to see you, and I'm so glad to hear you. Take off your hat now, because otherwise I'll want you to sing another number right now.
How do you like that hat?
I'm crazy about it. I was just thinking on you as you were standing there singing, why don't they make hats like that anymore? Why don't they want to frame a woman's face and have it look beautiful?
I don't know. It really is wonderful, isn't it? It was made by Bill Walker of the Long Wharf Theatre. It's wonderful.
It's just a darling. The buttons, of course, have to do with the
pearlies.
London,
the pearl buttons all over their clothes. It looks very pretty, doesn't it?
I'm crazy about it. I think it's an idea for us.
Yes, it is.
Didn't they wear the pearlies all around?
Yes, men and women wear them, and the one that has the most on their clothes is the pearly king or the pearly queen. Some of them are absolutely encrusted with the buttons. It makes marvelous.
And different kinds of buttons they wear, too, don't they?
They're all pearl buttons, but some of them have slightly different overcast on them.
You are, you know, what you were singing, I was just thinking about a review that I read, it's a long time ago, because I first saw you, 79, would it have been? Probably.
Yes.
Doing the street songs,
at the
roundabout. Yeah. And I remember a review in the New Yorker that said, because she is so natural, so informal, one is tempted to forget the work, the professionalism, the concentration, the care that has gone into this glowing performance.
Oh, that's
wonderful. Do you remember that yourself? You must.
Well, I do. I'm very proud of that, yes. Very happy about that.
Because it is so glowing, and it is so marvelous. And then I remembered something that you said, which was that you really thought that if one wanted to have a career, one had to say yes, even if the part was unimportant or unappealing, although I can't think of you doing anything unappealing. One must go ahead and try to make it work and take it.
Yes, I do believe that. I used not to. When I was a young girl, I believed the very opposite, that one must say no to everything and make sure that the work itself was of the highest quality and this and that and the other thing, which one's not really in a position to be able to judge, I don't think. And so then I found, to my horror, that passing up all these things that I thought were not good, I don't mean good enough for me. Now, I didn't do that.
Weren't important enough to do.
Weren't good enough as a piece of literary or theatrical work. But then, not only did I not get what I thought was a wonderful piece of theatrical work, but the very people who had been saying yes all along took what I considered to be the piece I was born to do, as well as everything else. Yes. So after a while, I got to learn
Humphrey Bogart was always advising me to say yes to
Say
everything.
yes to everything.
And I know that that you were always a yes sayer. And
I have
always
been a
had
yes
wonderful
sayer.
things happening for you. And so
Well, that's nice. Thank
finally,
you.
I got around to saying yes.
And it's been yes for everything, because every
Exactly.
time I ask, I say, is Geraldine in town to your dear husband? And he says, no, she's in Italy right now, but she'll be back next week. So
Yes.
you just go, even if it's a short part and hardly anything to do with it, you go and do it.
Well, it's rather funny because sometimes he says to me, you know, you're away a lot, and Martin Gable was just saying today that you seem to be away a lot. And I said, well, he's a good one because
He's been away a lot.
No, his wife, Arlene Francis, is always away.
Away a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was curious, when I was listening to you sing then, did you hear a lot of street songs as a child in Ireland?
Yes. Street songs is really, well, first of all, it's the kind of songs that it's popular songs that everybody likes to sing when they're on their own, is really what it is, because they lift up one's spirits. But also, it's my kind of a homage to vaudeville and the music hall, because that was the theatre that I first saw when I was taken to the theatre. And that's the theatre that sent me into the theatre. And that's the theatre that had I, you know, chance to do it all over again, that's the theatre I would have gone for, except that that
It would have been our loss.
It would have, well, also that theatre kind of is more or less over. It's not what it was. But the music hall is a great theatre, was a great theatre, and hopefully it will be restored sometime.
But you never sang until a short time ago. I mean, I certainly never heard you sing.
Well, I used to be a car singer, you know, someone who sings in the car. And finally, I was in a picture, the first picture that Paul Newman ever directed, called Rachel, Rachel, with Joanne.
I saw you,
Yeah.
yes, indeed.
And I had to sing in that.
I forgot
and,
that you sang in that.
Yes, and then it was so unfortunate, the results, that I think
it suited the part. It did.
But I found someone then who was prepared to teach me, because I had so few singing tones that not everybody would have. But this man, Andy Anselmo, taught me. And since then, he has become the great teacher of actors, that is to say, people who don't ordinarily sing. He's taught Julie Harris, he's taught Joanne Woodward,
yes.
He's taught Brooke Shields, he's taught... well, he took Mandy Patinkin and turned him from a car singer into one of our very, very best singers.
Geraldine, if anybody in our profession should have had a tribute, you are the one. I was so delighted about that tribute given to you. Tell our audience a little bit about it.
Well, I really was absolutely overcome by it. I know that E.G. Marshall was there.
And he's been on our program, yes.
And John Houseman.
And he's been on our program.
And Kitty Carlisle.
And Kitty's been on our program. We've had all the best.
All the best on your program were there. All people that I love and admire so much. I was deeply touched by the whole affair.
It was lovely. It was lovely that you were there. It's lovely that you are here. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And we'll be right back after these messages.
Rose and Crown. And it's interesting in that context to note that Noel Coward wrote that. And he was celebrated for being one of the most sophisticated lyricists of this century. And yet when he was asked to write a song that reflected his deepest feelings for England, he didn't write about Buckingham Palace. And he didn't write about a design for living in the Mayfair pad. No, he wrote, Saturday night at the Rose and Crown is just the place to be. Tinkers and tailors and soldiers and sailors all out for a bit of a spree. If you find that you're weary of life with your husband or wife and the kids have got you down, it will all come right on Saturday night at the Rose and the Crown.
Bravo! Come over here. Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely.
So glad to see you, Arlene.
I'm glad to see you, and I'm so glad to hear you. Take off your hat now, because otherwise I'll want you to sing another number right now.
How do you like that hat?
I'm crazy about it. I was just thinking on you as you were standing there singing, why don't they make hats like that anymore? Why don't they want to frame a woman's face and have it look beautiful?
I don't know. It really is wonderful, isn't it? It was made by Bill Walker of the Long Wharf Theatre. It's wonderful.
It's just a darling. The buttons, of course, have to do with the
pearlies of
pearlies,
London, who
the
sew
pearlies
pearl
of-
buttons all over their clothes. It looks very pretty, doesn't it?
I'm crazy about it. I think
Yeah.
it's an idea for us.
Yes, it is.
Didn't they wear the pearlies all around?
Yes, men and women wear them, and the one that has the most on their clothes is the pearly king or the pearly queen. Some of them are absolutely encrusted with the buttons. It makes marvelous.
And different kinds of buttons they wear, too, don't
They're
they?
all pearly, but pearl buttons, but
uh-huh.
some of them have slightly different overcast on them.
Uh-huh. You are, you know, what you were singing, I was just thinking about a review that I read, it's a long time ago, because I first saw you, 79, would it have been? Probably.
Yes.
Doing the street songs,
at the
I mean.
roundabout
At the
theater,
roundabout. Yeah. And I remember a review in the New Yorker that said, because she is so natural, so...
Did I not get what I thought was a wonderful piece of theatrical work, but the very people who had been saying yes all along took what I consider to be the piece I was born to do, as well as everything else.
Yes.
So after a while I got to learn. Humphrey Bogart was always advising me to say yes to everything. And I know that that you were always a yes-sayer. And
I have
always
been a
had
yes-sayer.
wonderful things happening for you. And so
Well, that's nice. Thank you.
finally I got around to saying yes.
And it's been yes for everything, because every
Yes.
time I ask, I say, is Geraldine in town to your dear husband? And he says, no, she's in Italy right now, but she'll be back next week. So
Yes.
you just go, even if it's a short part and hardly anything to do with it, you go and do it.
Well, it's rather funny because sometimes he says to me, you know, you're away a lot, and Martin Gable was just saying today that you seem to be away a lot. And I said, well, he's a good one because
He's been away a lot.
No, his wife, Arlene Francis, is always away.
Away a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was curious, when I was listening to you sing then, did you hear a lot of street songs as a child in Ireland?
Yes. Street songs is...
Informal, one is tempted to forget the work, the professionalism, the concentration, the care that has gone into this glowing performance.
Oh, that's
Do you
wonderful.
remember that yourself? You must.
Well, I do. I'm very proud of that, yes. Very, very
Because
happy
it
about
is so glowing and it is so marvelous. And then I remembered something that you said, which was that you really thought that if one wanted to have a career, one had to say yes, even if the part was unimportant or unappealing, although I can't think of you doing anything unappealing. One must go ahead and try to make it work and take it.
Yes, I do believe that. I used not to. When I was a young girl, I believed the very opposite, that one must say no to everything and make sure that the work itself was of the highest quality and this and that and the other thing, which one's not really in a position to be able to judge, I don't think. And so then I found to my horror that passing up all these things that I thought were not good, I don't mean good enough for me, no, I didn't do that.
Weren't important enough to do.
Weren't good enough as a piece of literary or theatrical work. But then, not only...
Yes, indeed. This one acts, and she directs, and she sings. In the prime of her life, Geraldine Fitzgerald is singing her beloved street songs in a one-woman show right here in New York. And I'm very pleased that she's going to be our guest tonight. Would you believe that today she has the most successful act at the Actors Playhouse? It is a one-woman show, a musical. Here she is singing a song from that one-woman show, Streetsongs.
Saturday night at the Rose and Crown is just the place to be. Tinkers and tailors and soldiers and sailors all out for a bit of a spree. If you find that you're weary of life with your husband or wife and the kids have got you down, it will all come right on Saturday night at the Rose and the Crown. Now that's a street song about a lovely English pub called the Rose.